Hi, welcome back. I'd like to invite Liz, our moderator, back up to the stage. Hi, Paul.
There we go. Hi, it just took a minute. Thank you so much. Welcome back, everybody. Our next presentation is entitled Faculty Profiles at Tufts, The Journey Towards a Comprehensive University EFS. Presenters are Paul Bergen from Tufts University and Kelsey Rosell from Digital Science.
Kelsey, mute.
Kelsey, your microphone is turned off.
Okay, I think you have me now.
Yes, that's good.
Right, you can hear me? Okay, so let's see if this works again. So lucky you folks, you get to see me twice, right, in a row. All right, let me see if I can make this click. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, excellent. So thank you for inviting us in. I'm going to introduce myself again, just in case you weren't on the previous session. My name is Kelsey Rosell. I am the Senior Vice President for Institutional Sales and the Commercial Director for Dimensions for Digital Science. Long title. I have to find a way to shorten that. And my co-presenter is Paul Bergen, who is from Tufts University. And I think you're the Director of Educational Technology and Learning Spaces, right?
That's correct.
Right, Paul. So what we hope to share with you is why you need a comprehensive expert finder system. And my part of this is really not going to be as interesting as what Paul's is when he gets into the story. But I talked about this a little bit earlier today, which is that we're in an evolution in this industry about putting our expertise forward in a public forum so that we can be discovered by other collaborators. And with that, we know that institutions like Tufts and the institutions that you all belong to are seeking ways to really highlight the impact of the scholars at your institution and raise the visibility of those researchers and faculty members there at the university. So how do you do that, right? Because there's been institutional websites around forever, but they really are more focused on the institution versus an expert finder system, which is focused on the expert, the academic, the researcher at the institution. And I think that's what the evolution is bringing us to. And there has to be an easy way to take all of the data that you've captured in some sort of aggregation system, faculty information management system, CRIS system. Rebecca just went through all of the different names that these systems are called. But then you have to find an easy, seamless way to have that data that's captured there flow out to that public system so that your faculty are not spending time updating this data over and over and over again. So, finding that efficient, seamless workflow is really important. And I think that's something that Symplectic Elements, the product that Digital Science has as a RIM system, is doing quite well. We actually didn't even have a public portal until I think that launched in 2018. And it launched because of the evolution that we just talked about. And people were looking for that easy, seamless way to get data from their RIM system into something that would highlight and elevate the visibility of their faculty. The other thing is that as in most things in our world, the hard sciences tend to get a lot of attention. And it's become more apparent that those that are not in the STEM fields need to have a way to also represent themselves in a way that is easily discoverable and will attract collaborators to them as an expert in the field that they're in. So this, again, is another evolution and something that Symplectic paid attention to, and that's largely how they built their discovery module, their discovery platform that Paul's going to talk about. There's also a really a focus on sustainability in these types of systems as well, right? So it has to be able to grow with the technology. So when you're making an investment and you're looking at a tool, be thinking about, is it going to be a tool that will allow for the growth of technology? Is it going to be innovative and be able to show things that you wouldn't normally show in a system like this? Like, for example, linking out to media, right? Videos, things like that. So that will help you get wider buy-in at your institution. And I just think it's a consideration. And the other thing is that, find a partner, a technology partner that is going to work with you and grow with you, because where you start your project today might not be where you want to be 5 years from now. So is that partner going to be able to work with you all the way through and help you get to your end goals? So I think these are the questions you've got to know when you're working with your technology partner. Is talk to them about their plan. What's your roadmap? Where are you going? How do you innovate? Things like that. I think those are all important questions. And Paul will probably talk a little bit about that, I think, when he gets into his presentation. So I'm not going to spend any more time talking about the vendor side of things. I think it's more important for you to hear from your colleague, someone who's actually going through it. So with that, Paul, I'm going to turn it over to you. I think I may need to stop sharing, or you just share and take it over.
Well, I don't, I'm actually going to present without the usual endless litany of PowerPoint slides that accompany my talks. So the problem is that everybody has to look at me during, sorry about that, during the presentation. So by the end of August, Tufts University will have completed a 5-year project to create an expert finder system of Tufts scholars that includes comprehensive profiles of almost all faculty at the university. My job here is to tell you the story of how we got there and outline some of the key components that led to what I think is our success. For perspective, Tufts is located just outside of Boston. We pride ourselves on being a student-centric research university, which I see as a cross between a research institution and a small liberal arts teaching college. We're relatively small, R1, with about 1,500 faculty, 6,000 undergraduates, and 6,000 graduate students. We have remarkable disciplinary breadth across all of our schools, an interesting constellation, including a medical school, a dental school, a school of veterinary medicine, a school of law and diplomacy, nutrition, engineering, and a school dedicated to the fine arts. When I took on this project, I was determined that the result would be a comprehensive and sustainable expert finder system. I wasn't particularly interested in a system representative of only a few willing faculty across the university. I wanted it to have lasting value to the institution, and I didn't want to get to the end of the project and watch the system dilute over time. So I looked for structural mechanisms to build and sustain it. Our project had 2 phases. When we began, there was no enterprise system of record for Tufts faculty appointments. Appointments were tracked in schools using systems from homemade shadow databases that included things like salary information to spreadsheets and filing cabinets. So as our first phase in the project, we sought to create a single system of record for all faculty appointments and a business interface so that schools could use the system for faculty appointments going forward. We gathered requirements from each school and developed a single data structure that captured the quirks and eccentricities of faculty appointments across all of our schools. And then we spent about 18 months helping input schools' current and historical appointment data. Now, I would say that alone is a pretty monumental achievement by our project team. No more spreadsheets, no more homemade shadow databases at the university. And then phase 2 of the project began once we could actually answer the question, who are Tufts faculty? And in the name of our expert finder system, we could ask, what do we know about their contributions to research, teaching, scholarship, and service? We called this project, not to add to another name to the menagerie, but we called this project a scholarly networking phase. And it is here where we began a remarkable and fruitful partnership with Kelsey and her colleagues at Symplectic and Digital Science. We introduced the scholarly networking phase of the project on a school-by-school basis after that school had completed its migration to the new core system. So we had an accurate faculty roster of that school. We created feeds from the core system, PeopleSoft in our case, to Symplectic Elements. We then introduced Elements to school faculty through department chair meetings, plenary faculty meetings, open drop-in hours, and structured workshops for faculty. I felt it was essential for faculty to see more than a blank slate when they first logged into Elements, and I was confident that we couldn't rely on the faculty themselves to develop their profiles from scratch. So I wanted them to log into Elements for the first time and see that their profiles were already well underway. Using the excellent harvesting system or engine in Elements, the excellent harvesting engine in Elements, partnering with librarians who oversaw trained student workers, we preloaded profiles for every faculty member in a given school. We downloaded photos, bio paragraphs, teaching statements, research statements, and education history from public Tufts websites. We curated the initial publication harvest from Elements, added scholarly identifiers to refine the search, and reduce the number of unclaimed publications to as few as possible for each faculty member. We checked 5 years of those publications against faculty CVs to fill in gaps, and we entered 5 years of professional activities from their CVs. For each school, we then assembled a small group of faculty volunteers to review their profiles and help us understand categories that they would typically use to describe their accomplishments. We found that those categories differed from school to school. As we opened the system to the entire, we opened the system to the entire school. Initially, the plan was to use faculty annual activity reporting as the motivating force to get faculty to use the system and keep it up to date. This also made the system attractive to the deans who are interested in reports of faculty activity and allowed us to rely on faculty affairs officers to serve as ongoing school-based points of contact and business service owners. But many schools already had faculty reporting systems and were reluctant to introduce anything new to their faculty. So we found another motivator and are currently developing a Drupal 9 module that will use Elements as the basis for faculty profiles that appear on department and school websites. If faculty want their profiles to be up to date on their department site, they must update their Elements profile to accomplish that. We just introduced Elements to our final school, the School of Arts and Sciences, and we plan to be complete by the end of August. I think there have been 3 keys to our success that I'd like to close with. First is a small, hungry, humble, hardworking project team that worked in perpetual startup mode. Everyone willing to wear whatever hat is needed to get the job done. They were fantastic. The second element is finding ways to link the platform to required business processes in order to make it an integral part of the way the school does business and the faculty experience. And finally, truthfully, we could not have accomplished what we did without an amazing and unique partnership from Kelsey and our colleagues at Symplectic and Digital Science. They helped us leverage immature institutional data streams and were willing to work with us throughout our slow cooking, incremental school-by-school rollout strategy when clearly it would have been easier for them if we took a big bang approach to the institution at large. I really can't say enough about our partnership with Digital Science and Symplectic. And I've known Kelsey now for about 6 years, and she's been just an amazing partner. Thank you. Is there time for questions?
Well, we were going to have questions after the next session, so we are a little ahead of schedule. Did you have anything else that you guys wanted to say? Because we could just go ahead and move along to the next session if you'd like.
I just want to reemphasize that it's one thing to work with a vendor to stand up a REM system and make it available to the university. But with all of the effort that we've put into this, it really added a lot of value to the institution to integrate it in with required business processes. In this case, whether it's the faculty annual activity reporting or the website, departmental websites. We're involved in a big website renovation project now, so it coincides well with that. And honestly, I think that has made a big difference and probably explains how we have such comprehensive coverage of our faculty at this point.
That's great. It's so good to hear how things are going at Tufts.
Yeah, I think too, Paul touched on this, that the last school coming on board is the arts and sciences. And I think that goes a little bit to what Rebecca was saying, which is that, the humanities are so underrepresented in systems like this. And I think that the fact that we have several clients that have arts and humanities folks in elements and then being pushed out publicly to the discovery module. And I just think that's so important for that group of academics to get some visibility that has been lacking in that area for a long time. And being able to link out to media, so where they have performances and things like that, I think is just really fantastic to see.
We started our rollout in arts and sciences with the theater, dance, and performing arts department, specifically because the currency of their scholarly accomplishments is so different from that of STEM fields, for instance, or some of the hard social sciences. And we sat down with the faculty after we created the profiles and really learned a lot about how elements can be customized to really satisfy the storytelling of their careers across all sorts of disciplines, and B, how critical it is for faculty to be able to tell the stories of their careers in ways that they're satisfied with. It really has taken a lot of conversation and negotiation and customization insofar as Elements allows that, which is considerable, in order to make faculty happy and make a system that really represents the way they want to tell the story of their careers.
Yeah. We do have a couple quick questions that maybe we could just go ahead and answer. What was the timeline from the time you picked Elements to now? And how comprehensive is Elements for Humanities at this point?
At this point, it is about 50% comprehensive because we're still finishing some of the fine arts faculty profiles. We're rolling out across arts and sciences in waves. There are 44 departments, and we'll do 10 at a time in 10 different waves. And it just so happens that we're not starting with the fine arts, so that it's not complete yet. However, we have had a number of focus sessions with the theater, dance, and performing arts department, and also we have a school of fine arts, and we're working with those faculty as well. I'm very confident that we will be able to find common language to describe the accomplishments of faculty across all disciplines at this point. I'm not sure that answered the question, but
Paul, one of the questions was how long, which Paul's project from start, which started out with an RFP to where we are today, was about 5 years. But that timeline was very dependent on Tufts to do what they had to do on their end, which is one of the reasons why it took so long. But not only that, don't forget that Symplectic did not have the discovery module, this find an expert portal, until 2018. So they were using Elements as a faculty information management system behind the firewalls, right? They just didn't have this public view until 2018. But once this went up, it actually moved quite quickly between launch and where we are today for you to get your schools in, I think.
I think it's been about three years or so, really, for the scholarly networking phase, and 2 years for we call the core phase, where it just involved bending people soft to our will.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's been about 3 years of persistent effort, and that includes some delays because of the pandemic.
Great. Okay, so there's a couple other questions that have come in, but we'll handle those at the end in the Q&A session after this next session. So we'll go ahead and bring on our other presenters. Thank you, Paul and Kelsey. Our next presenters are from Aalborg University in Denmark, and Lykke and Soren Vidmar, and they're joined by Kristian Toland from Elsevier. The title of their presentation is Bring Your Research Asset Data to Life, Driving Interaction Through Dynamic Data Visualizations and Engaging Content. Anne, I'll pass it to you.
Sorry, I'm just struggling a bit with a power cut at my end. So I've been thrown off twice now, so I have to pass on the screen sharing to my colleague Soren, because I don't know if I'm going to be cutting out again, and I'm like really cutting out completely dark here.
Great. We'll let you guys take it over.
Er det okay, Søren? Jeg kan ikke, den er lidt røglig igen. Okay. Jeg kan godt lige starte med det første. Sorry, I'm just switching into Danish just very briefly. That's the struggle of going online. Well, thank you anyway, Liz. I'll just make a brief introduction of the three of us. My name is Anna, and I, together with my colleague Soren, we both work in the VBN team at Aalborg University at the University Library. And we're speaking together today about bringing your research asset data to life together with Kristian Toland from Elsevier. Because we have a long history going back quite a few years now.
Are you able to share your screen, Anne? Because in order to grant the permission, I have to close down Chrome. Quite a mess, Mac OS.
I can also try mine if that helps.
I'll just try it here. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I really was sitting in the dark just 2 minutes ago. So, can you see my screen now? Okay, thank you. Thank you for your patience as well. So just do a brief introduction of who we are at Aalborg University. I'll just do a few numbers and facts about the university and our team. And Soren will then dive into the data part, and Kristian will take over from there, talking about development and so forth. The mission of Aalborg University is to create knowledge for the world. And we work according to 3 core areas, which I think most universities can recognize: research, education, and problem-based learning, and cooperation. And that means cooperation not only academic, but also with the surrounding society. This is also, of course, reflected in the data that we work with and the visualizations that we make from these data. A few facts about the university. We, at the moment, consist of 5 faculties, but social sciences and humanities will be merging next year in a much larger faculty, I think, as you would probably also recognize it in the US. We have approximately 25,000 students, including also PhD students, and about 4,500 employees, of which 2/3 are staff members in research and education. It's well worth noticing that we have approximately 700 of these coming from different international institutions. The university, of course, also has some things that it's very proud of, especially the fact that the university, I think for the 4th year now running, has been voted or is ranking as the best European university within engineering. And that it last year actually was ranked as the world's best university within UN SDG 4, meaning quality education. And it's quite a young university, and we're going on 50 years now, but we haven't reached that point yet. The VBN team, as we like to call ourselves, is actually situated at the university library, and this is just a brief overview of how the administration is built at Aalborg University. And we're actually quite a small team. We're at the moment 7 people, including our team leader. And we're slowly growing because we keep getting more responsibilities and more things to do. And as Rebecca also mentioned at the beginning, it's quite expensive, of course, to have a team like that. And but it's in the history of the university, and it goes back a long time. And the core areas that we're working with is actually the CRIS to keep up the European tradition language. And so our current research information system is PURE. And our portal is called the VBN portal. And you can actually see the front page of the portal next to the text here. And our main areas are independent of all the faculties of the university, meaning we work with research registration and analysis and dissemination for the whole university based on our CRIS system and the portal. And a small trivia point, fact, history thing about university is that PURE was actually developed in a cooperation between AAU and a tech startup company that was situated in Aalborg. And I actually think I saw one of the listeners or one of the attendees today who goes back to that time of history in the development of PURE. So, meaning the first version of PURE and also VBN was launched at the university back in 2003. So we're going on almost 20 years with PURE at the university. And of course, Atira and with it PURE was acquired by Elsevier some years ago. And that is why we're also presenting together with Kristian today, is we have this long tradition and history together, and we still try to keep the cooperation between the two institutions very close. And I'll let Soren take the part from here.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Anna. So yeah, as Anna mentioned, PURE is sort of the heart for all things related to research information at Aalborg University. And the traditional approaches to dissemination of data from PURE has usually been through reports, through PowerPoints, and through a portal. We have the PURE portal, and we have a custom portal running as well. There are some pros to these approaches, of course. They're reliable, they're fast, and they're sort of standardized. But there are also some obvious cons. It can be a bit static sometimes. It can be hard to find the appropriate level of detail in your reports or in your visualizations. And one size doesn't necessarily fit all audiences. Next slide, please. So in order to try to, we thought, let's try to spice things up a bit. Let's try to somehow supplement these reports and PowerPoints and portals with something a little different. So we thought, okay, let's try to create something where we use less text and more visuals. Let's try to make it a little more dynamic than the reports and the portals. Let's try to give the user the ability to explore the data, start simple, drill down into the data, and make it a bit more interactive if possible, and also in some cases try to curate the data a little bit in order to avoid information overload and in order to give the recipients a sort of single point of entry for a particular research area or subject. So in order to do this, we tried to experiment with some of the tools below, Microsoft Sway, Power BI, a tool called Flourish, and Google Data Studio. And on the next following slides, I would like to show you some examples of this. It would, of course, have been ideal to show this live or in a browser environment, but due to the setup here, we decided to play it safe and go with some screenshots. So you'll have to imagine that all these visualizations are interactive and that you can click on stuff and mouse over stuff and so on. But these are just images here. Next, please. Okay, so the first one here. Every year we do an annual report where we sort of use all the data we have in Pure from the past year and present it to the organization in different ways. And we have usually done this in a long PDF report, which was distributed through email. This year we decided to do something different in order to make it a more interactive experience and make it a bit more simple, maybe to begin experimenting with our data. So we decided to do it in Microsoft Sway. And in this way, we have embedded different visualizations from Power BI and other things. And you can see the report if you scan the QR code in the corner here, or if you go to the link. Next, please. Okay, so the first one here is some of the visualizations we did in Power BI with our Pure data, and these are embedded into the report. And the idea is that let's try to present this in an interesting way rather than just showing them in a table or something. These are all about collaboration. The one you see here on the left side is the distribution among departments, so interdepartmental collaboration between the different departments, where you can experiment a bit with that. And we have some visualizations also on collaboration. So the one on the top here is showing what external organizations the university collaborated with in the past year. So other universities, companies, NGOs, and so on. And there are different filters you can apply, like the type of collaboration. Is it a project? Is it a student project? Is it a publication? You can filter on the type of organization. You can filter on faculty and so on. So it's a way to make it a bit more interactive. We also have one on the sort of geographical spread of collaboration, where you have the world map here, and you can see the number of collaborations with different countries, and you can filter down to the different departments you're interested in, and you can filter on type and so on. And Power BI can connect directly to the Pure database. So once you figure out how to get the data out, it's quite easy to actually create these different visualizations. So it's a fun way to try to make it more interesting for the recipient, I think. Next one, please. Okay, yeah, another thing we did last year was that we created what we call a theme site. So it's sort of a sub-site to our Pure portal, and the basic idea is that we use the site to curate content. So we use the site to curate different research themes and visualizations in order to create a simple point of entry and create an overview where you can begin exploring our research. So we have a theme on sustainable development goals as an example, where you can click on this, and then you're taken to a page where you can click on a specific SDG, and then you're taken to our Pure portal, where you can see all the related publications, researchers, organizations, and so on to this specific SDG. We've also done some themes on PhD thesis, COVID-19, and collaboration, and so on. And again, you can view it by scanning the code here. Next one, please. Yeah, as an example here, we did a theme on collaboration on student projects because we thought it would be interesting to try to visualize somehow who are our students actually collaborating with on all their student projects. So we extracted all the information from our Pure, and then we uploaded it to a service called Flourish, where you can do all sorts of different colorful interactive visualizations. You can do some visualizations on who are the organizations that you're collaborating with. You can filter on campus and so on. You can filter on specific educations to see, okay, who did students from this specific education collaborate with, and lots of other different stuff. And everything is sort of interactive, and you can click on it and so on. Next, please. And another theme, COVID-19, maybe not surprisingly, has been a huge theme the last year. So we decided to do something about that as well in order to sort of showcase the COVID-19 related research from our university. We set up the website you can see here on the left. It's really simple stuff, actually. It's just a simple website where we have some links. And these links lead to a Pure portal, so you can click on publications, projects, press, and so on. And then you're taken to our Pure portal where a corresponding search has been set up. So it's really easy for the user to find all the COVID-19 related research by going to the site and then to the portal. So it's another example of sort of curating the data a little bit for the user. Next one, please. Yeah, and we thought this would be fun also to try to incorporate this into a physical space somehow. So we have these big monitors set up at the university library, and the idea is that you're standing there waiting for someone. You can pick up your phone and scan a code. Then you're taken to the site, and from there you're taken to the research on the Pure portal. So it's a way to try to bring your data into physical space as well. Next one, please. Yeah, and the last couple of ones here are some themes on attention we've done. We thought it would be interesting to try to somehow show to our university and show to our researchers that there is actually a lot of traffic coming into the portal. There's a lot of interest in the research from the university. And remember to pay attention to your profile and keep it updated and keep it nice and so on. So we set up this report in Google Data Studio using Google Analytics, where you can see some facts about the number of users, page views, the geographical distribution, and so on of visitors. And again, there are some filters you can apply here to engage with the data. Next one, please. Yeah, and another theme also related to attention. We thought it would be interesting to try to keep track of, okay, who's linking to our research on Twitter. We of course use services like Altmetric and Plumx to keep track of the sort of mentions of publications and so on. But it would be fun also to try to keep track of who's linking to our profile on Twitter. So we set up the service which monitors Twitter, and then every time somebody links to our portal, it's picked up by this service, and we can use it to visualize things using these data. The next one, please. Yeah, and this is just a quick example of what you can do. You can sort of create a word cloud highlighting who are the tweeters linking most to your portal on Twitter, just to show you an example. That was it. Thank you from me. Over to you, Kristian.
Thanks very much, Soren. So slide, please. So as in her presentation and really resonated with me, it's important to find a technology partner who is willing to work and grow with you. And as Anna tested to start this presentation, we've been working together for 20 years with Aalborg University. Obviously not me personally, but as a company with Pure. And during that time, we're very lucky to have clients such as Aalborg and other vocal very active, engaged clients to help push us and push us and shape us in the direction based on their ever-evolving needs. So I just want to speak very briefly about how we're evolving the Pure Portal that we offer over the next year or so to meet some of these needs. Slide, please. So as I said, this year is really a year where we're focusing on rebuilding the system almost from the ground up, based on these core areas that we've identified where we want to improve our offering for the portal. It's very important for us to manage what data we show on different levels. I won't go into that one because we're a little bit short on time, but I'll focus on some of the key ones based on also what Anne and Soren were saying. So about integrating multimedia and external content together to curate content, to be able to bring content together around these themes. It's something that we've been talking about for a while in the Pure Portal. The cases of SDGs and of COVID-19 really coming to the fore in the last 18 months or so have really kind of crystallized for us the requirements that we can assemble a collection, a group of content from across your organization, different types of content, organizations, projects, persons, everything to do with particular subject areas, and be able to actually configure and build a page around that with automatic support, so bringing it together with machine learning algorithms, but then also to manually curate this content. And the ability to actually be able to simply configure things about the pages, so you can build a portal which has that customization that you need while still having a stable basis that we can support. So we can still have kind of a technical one-size-fits-all, but actually you can customize to a point where it better matches your branding of the university and not Elsevier's branding. And then finally, again, building on what Soren is saying, actually be able to integrate these visualizations, both things that we can supply through widgets from Pure, but also outside things you might want to build yourself as well. So focus really on this modular idea of being able to inject and stream in content from different places into the portal service that we have. Slide, please. So like I say, we're using a modular design basis to this. The idea is that we have content cards that you can move around to shape different pages for organizations, for projects, and you can set the template for these. So we're getting out of that kind of rigid, static structure that we've had for a while and allowing you to actually configure through a kind of content management system kind of basis how your page design should be looked. And so we have these templates that you can actually design yourselves. Slide, please. And this is like the end project, really. This is the end idea, that you can actually configure across the page where you want to have different parts. So if you want to have a visualization at the top of your department page, you can add it in. If you want to have a video giving like, for example, Anna was showing me last time I was at the Aalborg campus, these wonderful introduction videos that different departments have made talking about their research. And so the ability to then integrate those at the top of the page if you have them. So again, you can really customize and inject in this multimedia in a way which matches what you have. So of course, not every department or every group page is going to have this kind of content, but if you do have it, we can integrate it in a way which is visually appealing. Slide, please. And then the end goal is to be able to build what you see here. So you have then on the left an example of a content page just built with these separate cards that we would have, these different modular widgets. And then on the right, a similar thing where we've made a design based on how we're supporting sustainable development goals. As I said, it's been a big focus for us, and it'll be the first test for us of how we bring this content together to around these themes. The idea is we take one theme, which we know is relevant to almost every university, sustainable development goals, and then we build out from there to actually allow you to create content pages based on whatever themes are most relevant and most key to your organization. So you can highlight your strengths through the portal and at the same time use this to profile your experts and show that you have the top people, the people you want to reach out to in this area. Slide, please. So this is ongoing work. It's parallel to our support still for our current portal. We successfully made a working prototype that we've been showing to some clients. but we're going to be going much further with this, and we'll be working together with Anna and Soren and other interested clients to really go through different iterations of this over the next year, with the goal of releasing a first version of this product to production in the first half of next year. Like I say, we're working in close collaboration with clients. Feedback, we have numerous support tickets and improvement requests. I wanted to say as well, I'm not just as Aalborg University, our most long-standing client, it's also the one with most vocal in making improvement requests. I checked now, we have over 200 open tickets. So thank you, Anna, for helping with the feedback and driving us to evolve with you. Really, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing what you're doing at Aalborg University. We're a little over on time. I do want to give the presenters the option to answer a few questions that have come in, but I understand people will need to drop off. So just for those who might need to leave, thank you for joining us, and we'll hope to see you next week for the session that's entitled Supporting Expertise Discovery in the COVID Era. So if you can stick around for a couple minutes to hear the questions, that would be great. For the Aalborg team, regarding who's linking to research via Twitter dashboard, who uses that report, and did you find it valuable?
Yeah, thanks for the question. At the moment, it's actually just embedded on a website, so we don't currently sort of distribute it as a tool that people can use. It's more of an idea at this point in time. But I think the ideal approach would probably be if we could somehow provide feedback to our researchers that somebody is talking about your research or linking to your profile, and then give them the possibility to engage in the discussion if they find it relevant. But that's maybe something a little long down the line. So at the moment we don't currently know who's using it. Okay, great. And I have a question for Paul about Tufts. If you can answer, Paul. Do you hope to eventually have the colleges move to elements for future activity reporting in the future?
Yes, we do, including arts and sciences. Some schools will opt out, so I guess not all of them, but any school that would like to try it will be welcome. Did that come through?
I think, since we're over time, I think that's about it on the questions for now. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you to our presenters for sharing their expertise. And again, we'll see you next week for our session entitled Supporting Expertise Discovery in the COVID Era. Bye for now.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
It will be open for a while longer, so you're welcome to chat with other folks. So just wanted to let you know, and I'll see you on the floor in the coffee talk tables.